Hello and welcome to the first video update from the Fire Brigade Union in the West Midlands. The idea of these videos will be to update members on issues which are affecting them within the workplace and within West Midlands Fire Service. I'm Andrew Scattergood, I'm your Brigade Chair, and with me is Steve Price-Hunt, your Brigade Secretary. Now we're going to talk about a single issue today, and we're going to be talking about contractual issues and why that's important, the issues around that, and what the Fire Brigade Union are doing about it. So Steve, could you just explain to members listening what the issues are with the contracts that we're having currently?
Yeah, I'm more than willing to do that, Andy. Recently, the Brigade issued MTFA contracts to take rescue members. The current position is that MTFA nationally, at the NJC level, which is our employer, is not part of the firefighter role map. However, West Midlands Fire Service have issued contracts to our tech rescue members, making it a contractual arrangement to carry out MTFA. The second element is making connections Walsall in fire control. This is taking calls and managing databases on vulnerable people in the Walsall area. This was done without any consultation of the FBU and has been imposed on our members. We are clear that this is outside of the role of the fire control operator. However, the organisation is still pressing ahead with this type of work. And then the third element, the most serious of all, is the issue of contracts to new entrants. I must point out, Andy, that all the new entrants that are now out on station are members of the FBU, and we welcome them into the trade union. But the issue we have here is that in these contracts it states that they are required to carry out commissioning work on behalf of West Midlands Fire Service, which we see as very dangerous.
So you're talking about contracts there and the threat to contracts in a variety of different issues. Could you just explain briefly for members what contracts are and why are they important?
Contracts are really important to the worker because your contract is what you are expected to do at work. It covers your rates of pay, the hours that you work, the shift systems that you work, and the type of work that you'll be expected to do. So therefore, if commissioning work is inserted into your contract, then whatever payments that the West Midlands Fire Service get for any type of work would be classed as commissioning, and therefore you would be deemed required to carry out that type of work.
So you mentioned as well earlier about role maps. Again, I think it's worth explaining to the members watching. What is a role map? What is our role map, and why is that important?
Well, your role map, again, determines the type of work that you do. Now, the firefighter role map has expanded extensively over the decades. Originally, we just went and responded to fires, then it moved on to road traffic collision accidents, and then water rescues, chemical spillages, the list goes on. However, that was all determined at the National Joint Council, which is our employer at a national level, and one half of that is the Fire Brigade Union. It was all done through consultation, and it was all done through agreement. However, what this is doing now, by issuing contracts for commissioning work, is completely negating the national position on this and the national role map of a firefighter. And what ultimately this could lead to is when more and more people come into the workplace with these type of contracts, what we're entitled to by law as a trade union is collective bargaining on behalf of our members. That is collective bargaining on all the things I talked about in the contract earlier. This negates the type of work that a firefighter would be expected to do and limits our collective bargaining and eventually stops it completely.
So what we're essentially talking about is the watering down of the role of our firefighter members and our firefighter control members, aren't we?
That's exactly right, Andy. We're a humanitarian service and we're an emergency service, and what firefighters do is respond to emergency incidents. These new contracts are moving away from what a firefighter does.
So it's a very serious issue that our members are facing out there, and one that they sort of need to keep updated on. What are the FBU going to be doing about this then?
Well, we are going through the formal process. We've submitted failure to consult and failure to agrees, which is the process that we have to go through. We've held meetings with management to tell them how we feel about these contracts, which are going against the national position and the national NJC position, and who are ultimately our employers. And if they don't respond to our requests, which is to rescind the contracts that have been issued to new entrants and give us guarantees that no more will be issued, and that the making connection work stops, then we will be referring the matter to the NJC Joint Secretaries so that this can be looked at from a national position.
Okay, well I think that gives a really good overview of the issues and the contractual issues and the attacks on our roadmap that we're facing here within the West Midlands. We're going to be looking at different issues and hopefully posting these blogs quite regular. So you can make sure that you like our Facebook page and that you're following us on Twitter, and also make sure that you signed up to our new emailing list because it's very important that all our members are signed up to that to make sure that they receive all the updates that we'll be sending out over the course of the next weeks, months and probably years. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.